Hey everybody, welcome back to our kitchen and welcome back to our channel. So I am trying my hand at a sourdough starter, and we just started this last night from the Captain Sour Pants sourdough starter. It was an active product that I bought on Amazon. The first thing you did was you just put in your packet, your active ingredient, 2 tablespoons of water and 2 tablespoons of flour, and you cover it and let it sit overnight. So far it's doing pretty good. As you can see, it's got some little active things down in there. Now it's 12 hours later, and we're not going to dump any of this discard off yet, according to this starter instructions, but we're going to add a 1/4 cup of flour and a 1/4 cup of water. So here is the Captain Sour Pants sourdough starter instructions, and we are at the 12-hour mark, which is the 1/4 cup of flour and 1/4 cup of water. Mix well, cover, and store in a warm place. So here's my 1/4 cup of flour. And you don't want to use any kind of chlorinated water or anything like that, so this Pure Leaf purified water works well. And we're going to add a 1/4 cup of water into this then. So there's my 1/4 cup. I'm going to add that right on down in. Now we both love sourdough, and I was afraid to start it the very first time by myself with just the flour and water mixture, so I wanted to try this Captain Sour Pants sourdough mixture and see if I could get some kind of active starter from it. You want to make sure that you mix all of the dry ingredients down in here, and it wants to be like a thick pancake batter mixture is what you're going for. So you just want to make sure all the dry ingredients are mixed in. Once you have that mixed in real well, all the dry ingredients, make sure you scrape down your sides and clear them off very nicely. You're going to cover that loosely with a cloth cover, just like that. Now this starter that I do have here, it actually has a temperature gauge on it, because you do want to make sure that you keep your mixture in a warm place that's 70 to 75 degrees. So basically like in a pantry or, you know, in your oven. You can turn the oven light on and then turn it off, put it on in your oven and just keep it there. Now I also have this band here, and I'm gonna move it up to see how much growth appears. So we got the top of the band. This actually has a Monday, Tuesday time thing. So I'm gonna change the time on it and move the band up. So I have this set at 6 a.m. on Tuesday, and I have the top of the band just at the top mark of the starter that's in there. We'll see in 12 hours. It says to come back in 12 hours. Normally you're going to feed your starter every 24 hours, but this little starter set says we're going to start with 12 and then 12, and then we'll switch over to 24. So I'm just going to gently put this in here, and we'll see you tonight, Dolene, because that's what we're making. We're making a Dolene. That's what we're going to call her. We'll see her tonight around 6 o'clock, and we'll do our next water and flour feeding. All right, so it is 12 hours, which is 24 hours after the time that we started it. And Dolene has been growling in the pantry all day. Made Scott ran out of the house, made the cats run back the hallway. She been hungry, I guess. Got our thermometer on here, which is real well. So we're gonna take this off. And now we are gonna add a 1/2 cup of flour and a 1/2 cup of water to this. It says add your dry ingredient first. So we're gonna put a 1/2 cup of flour. We're going to follow that with a 1/2 cup of water. And we're not discarding anything because this was an active starter, so we're not discarding anything yet. Tomorrow we'll start the discarding after 24 hours. So we're going to go ahead and stir this up until there's nothing dry in here again. We'll also make sure we scrape down those sides like we did before. So we have that stirred in, and we have our sides pretty well clear here. We're going to go ahead and put that top back on and loosely cover it with this fabric top. We got our little bonnet on this Dolene. And we're going to move this over until it's Tuesday at 6 p.m. So we know when we last fed this little feller, this little Dolene, and we're going to move it up so that the top of the band is at the top of where it's at. We got a little supervisor here checking out Dolene. It was growling at her in that closet today in the pantry and sent her shivering back to hall. So she needs to know why it was so hungry. And now we have our temperature set and we have our band set. You can use a rubber band for this. We've got our temperature set, our date and time set. Temperature is staying steady where we need it. We're going to pop this back in the pantry for 24 hours this time. And we're going to feed her tomorrow night about 6:30 again. All right, folks. 24 hours later, day number 2, I believe. Time to feed Dolene. Temperature's good. We got some bubblies. Smells good. So this is the day that I'm scared because this is my first day of discard, which I've never done yet. So we're going to discard half of this mixture. So basically it looks like I'm sitting at about 300 milliliters there because I'm not going to include the foam. So I'm going to dump this off to its 150. So I decided to put it in a bowl for now to do my discard. And wash the container. Somebody had mentioned maybe washing the container to keep some of the old stuff off of there. Don't use any soap, just kind of warm water. So I washed that out and I'm going to add back in a half a cup of the starter. So I have a half a cup back in, which is about 150 milliliters. At this point, you don't want to save that discard because it's not active. Now we're going to add a half a cup of flour and a half a cup of water. So I got my half a cup of flour in there. I'm going to go in with my half a cup of water. Stir that around till it's all the dryness is out of it. We have that all mixed in, so it's like a pancake batter again. We're going to put our bonnet back on. And we adjusted our band to Wednesday, 6 p.m. is the last feed, and just to the top of the band is to the top of the mixture. We're going to put Dolene right back on in that pantry, and we're going to let her sit for another 24 hours. And we'll be back on day 3. This is why I need to keep a calendar. I said day 3, tomorrow this is today, tomorrow, I have no idea. We started this on Monday. And at 12 hours on day 1, we had to feed it. And then on 12 hours on day 1, again, we had to feed it. So 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. So today is Wednesday. We're at day 2. So now I got myself a calendar so I don't mess up my vlog no more. And we can keep this straight. Oh, shit. I forgot. I got to feed Dolene. It's late. And I didn't feed her. Baby Zeus is not feeling well, our cat, and I just got sidetracked and didn't feed Dolene. Today is day 3, and we need to dump off half of this. This is what it's looking like, and if I smell it, can you smell it? It smells cinnamony to me, so it smells good and fresh. So we're going to dump half of this off. So I'm going to do the same thing as yesterday. I'm going to pull all of this in a bowl. I'm going to rinse my container out. No soap, just wash it. I'm going to discard half of it and put 150 milliliters back in. Clean jar, let's add 150 milliliters back in of the starter. Remember, this isn't active yet, so your starter that you discard, you are discarding until it becomes active. We're gonna add a 1/2 cup flour and a 1/2 cup water. Got that in, so we're gonna stir that all around until it is all mixed and it is pancake batter thick. Make sure you scrape down your sides. I'm gonna put the lid back on top, our little cloth bonnet hat so that it can breathe. We're gonna put our time strap on. Got Dolene's bonnet back on. Doesn't she look cute? Oh, Dolene, 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 Dolene. Oh, probably can't do that. They'll probably demonetize me. We got our little dress back on. Oh, wait, I don't mean dress. He said dress, but if she's got a bonnet, she might as well have a dress. Got our little timestamp back on to the top of where she's at for Thursday at 6:30 p.m. And we'll see you tomorrow for day number 4 of feeding Dolene. Welcome back to Dolene Sourdough Starter. We're going to get old Dolene out of this pantry. This is day number 4. We're going to repeat the same process as yesterday. We're going to see how she looks, how she smells. Pour half of it off. Add a 1/2 cup of flour, 1/2 cup of water. So let's see. Oh yeah, she's got some bubbly ubblies going on there. Smells pretty good. We're gonna dump half of this off, clean this out. We have our jar all cleaned. Again, no soap, just hot water. I don't know if that's a necessary step, but I think it's a sanitary step. If you have 2 of these jars, you wouldn't have to do this. You could just pour from one into the other. That way you're getting rid of anything that's old. We're gonna put 150 milliliters back in of our starter. 150 back in. We're gonna add our flour. We wanna add our dry before we add our water. 1/2 cup. 1/2 cup going in. And just remember the discard that we took off is still not active, so you definitely wanna discard it. You don't wanna save it and bake with it. 1/2 cup of that water, not tap water unless you have really good purified water, filtered water. You want to make sure that it's a good water. So I just use the Pure Life. Stir this all up till it's that nice pancake batter thickness. The water you use, you don't want to be hot and you don't want it to be cold, so you just kind of want it room temperature. You want to make sure that there's no dried clumps left in there and it's all mixed in well, which it is. We're gonna put Jolene's little bonnet, breathable bonnet back on. And we're gonna put her timestamp band back on. If you don't have one of these, you can just use a rubber band and a dry erase marker and write right on your glass. So we have that at Friday, nope, that's still Thursday. Friday, 6 p.m., and the band is at the top. I'm not including a little bit of foamy stuff. We're gonna put Jolene right back on in that pantry where it's out of the air conditioning and a nice consistent temperature. Right there, and we will check back on Jolene tomorrow night around 6:30 for day number 5. Well, it's 6:30 and it's day number 5. Time to feed Dolene. So we're gonna get her out here and see how she's doing on her 5th day. I'll pull that lid off. Oh, she's got some nice bubbles in there. Still a really nice, good smell. That's good. So we're gonna stir this around. It's okay to have a little separation like this. That just means that it has ate through its food. It's a little bit of hooch. You know, stir that back down in before you discard half. So we stirred that all back in. We're just gonna dump it all in this bowl for now because we're going to clean this out. Just hot water because we don't have 2 containers. So we're gonna clean this out so it stays nice and fresh. Got that all cleaned out. We're gonna add back in 150 milliliters of the starter. half a cup of flour, half a cup of water. Now you make sure that it is the room temperature. You don't want hot, you don't want cold. And you can use a scale if you want it more accurate. You want a 1 to 1 to 1 ratio. So 150 milliliters, 150 milliliters, 150 milliliters. We're going to stir this back in till all of the dry mixture is mixed in and it's that pancakey type batter. So we have that all mixed down in there. Still smells real good. We're going to wipe those sides down. Gonna put her little belt back on. Saturday, 6:30 p.m. was the last time she was fed. We're gonna put back on her little nightcap on it because we're gonna put her back in there for 24 more hours. So she has her little nightcap on. We're gonna put her to bed for 24 more hours in a nice warm pantry. Day 6 of Dolene. We need to check her out. Take off her little bonnet. Oh yeah, that's looking really good. Smelling really good. Still got that separation of hooch. We're gonna stir that all in, dump half of it off. Stirred all in. We've got it poured into this bowl. We're gonna clean out our jar. Clean jar, we're gonna dump half back in till it's 150 milliliters. Half a cup of flour. Half a cup of water. Stir until it's not dry. All the dry mix is mixed in and it is like pancake batter. That's all mixed in. We got our band back on, marking 6:30 p.m. on Sunday. We're gonna put her little bonnet back on and put her to bed till tomorrow. Good night, Dolene. We'll see you tomorrow. Well, it is day number 7, the 7th day, and it is time to feed Dolene. So we got ourselves a new jar here that we can just transfer over into. I'm gonna open this up. She's looking pretty good. Smells pretty good. So we're gonna mix it together. Got that hooch in the center. We're gonna mix that together. We're gonna pour half in here. Throw the rest away. We have that all stirred. We're gonna pour 150 milliliters in here. We're gonna do a half a cup of flour, half a cup of water. Stir that all up till all the dry flour is gone and it is pancake batter consistency. We're gonna put the lid on this and we're gonna put this little rubber band on where it's at so we know what the level is and how much it rises. So there we have it. We're gonna put her back in there till tomorrow. All right, here we go. Day 8 with Dolene. You can see that she actually did double in size today, last night. We're still going to mix this together, pour half off, discard half, and feed her again. I want to keep this going until Friday night, Saturday morning, so that I can make it and bake it. So we're gonna stir it all up. Oh, still smells real good. We're gonna put 150 milliliters in this one.
We have GPS data that shows he was in places he shouldn't have been, doing things that you don't do if you don't have.
We're gonna discard this one. We're gonna add our half a cup of flour in here.
And his GPS shows it, right? Anyway, there's also this
Half a cup of the premium Real Good H2O room temperature.
person is killed on board a U.S. vessel. Soulmate was a U.S. vessel. Registered in Florida.
Mix that all up.
Jurisdiction. When someone is killed on board a U.S. flag vessel. Soulmate was a U.S. flag vessel. There's another area.
I'll make this a little thicker than the pancake batter. We're trying to make her more hungry. I need to add just a little more because I went a less than half a cup.
There are a lot of things that can take the United States government into the Bahamas.
Make sure all of the flour gets wet. Everything gets mixed in. Make sure you scrape those sides down.
But there's something else. There's like a lot of moving parts to this because there are multiple locations that need to be searched. In my theory, and I think a lot of you theorize as well, Brian had to get rid of Lynette.
So now we're at 300, so that's right because we want it to be that. We're gonna put our lid back on it. Put her back in till tomorrow, 24 more hours. Today was day number 8. Here it is, day 9 of feeding little old Dolene. You can see by the residue left that she more than doubled last night, which is perfect. And then she rose to more than double and fell. She's hungry now. Got a little hooch on top and some bubbles. So we're going to stir this up and we're going to discard half of it and put half in the new container. All right, so we poured half off. We have half of Dolene in here. We're going to go in with our half a cup of flour, half a cup of water, room temperature. Stir it until the dryness is gone and it is a thick batter. We got that all stirred up. We got our sides all scraped. We're going to put our band back on it and we're going to put the lid back on it. All right, so she's got her belt on her. She knows that that's where we're at, so we can tell if it doubles or not. We got our lid back on her. We're going to put old Dolene right back on in this pantry. She's grounded for the night again. We're going to check on her in 24 more hours and see how she's doing. Good night, Dolene. Here we are, day 10. You can see how much she more than doubled. Dolene, Dolene, Dolene. We're holding out for the weekend so that we can make this sourdough. So we're just gonna keep feeding Dolene. She's a hungry little bitch. And we're just, what? That's why she growls at you during the day when I'm not here, because she's mungry. That bitch is mungry. That Dolene is mungry. I'm just gonna stir it all in there. Just look at that. Smells good. We're gonna pour half of it in here, which is 150 milliliters. We're gonna discard the rest. We're gonna add our half a cup of flour. And a half cup of water, room temperature. It was not quite a half, so we're going to go ahead and add just a smidge more. We're going to stir that all up. Make sure all the dryness is out of it. The flour is absorbed into the water. There's no lumps or clumps left. Clean off those sides. Oh, when I did, there was a little flour up there, so let's mix it a little more. Clean off those sides again.
Borderline good, so they're not eating.
We're gonna put on her belt. So she has a good night's rest with her belt here and her little hat. And we're just gonna put her right on back into that pantry. Tomorrow is Friday, so that'll be day 11. She is very active, she's ready to go. So tomorrow we're gonna do something a little bit different so that we can get her prepared for bacon on Saturday. Stay tuned. Good night, Dolene. All right, folks, this is Dolene, and we are on our final step of we're gonna make our first loaf. First, we need to feed her one last time since it is Saturday and we're able to watch when she gets to her highest peak. That's important. So we're gonna go ahead and stir this up. Again, you can tell that she more than doubled. So that was where she was. She reached clear up to here. That's good. It's got a little hooch on the top. Smells real good. We're gonna stir all that in together. So we have that all stirred together. That looks real good, smells real good. We're gonna pour half of it in here and discard the rest. So we have that, and then we're gonna add half a cup of all-purpose flour. And because we're waking it up, we're gonna give it about 2 tablespoons of wheat flour as well. And our half a cup of water. We're gonna give that a stir until all the dryness is out of there and it is a thick pancake batter. There we go. Scrape down your sides. Put your lid on it, put your marker band on it, and now we're gonna let this sit on the counter instead of in the cupboard so that we can watch to see how quickly she rises till she gets to peak point before we discard and make our dough. Miss Dolene is ready to start trying to make our first loaf of bread. So, she looks good, she has peaked. We're gonna go ahead and stir this together. We're gonna take and add a half cup of the starter to the bowl. 1 1/4 cups of water, and then we're gonna give that a stir. Three cups of flour. 1, 2, and 3. And then 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt. 1 1/2. Now we're gonna mix this until there's no dry flour remaining and the dough should look shaggy, sticky, and rough. This is what it should look like. We're gonna put a towel over it, plastic wrap, a plate, whatever you want. Let it rest for 30 minutes. In the meantime, we're gonna keep feeding our starter so we can make more bread. So we have half a cup in here. We're gonna put half a cup of water, half a cup of flour. Flour first, then water. Half a cup of flour in. Now we're gonna add a half a cup of water. Half a cup of water. We're just gonna stir that around till it's no longer dry and it's a thick pancake batter. It's all mixed together. Still looking really good in there. Smelling good. Got our little belt on her. We're gonna put her bonnet on her. We're gonna store this back in the pantry overnight so we have a second starter. Keep on going. And hopefully our bread turns out well, and if not, we're already a head start because we got our starters remaining. All right, here's what we have right now. This is after 30 minutes. This is the way it should look. You're gonna wet your hands, which I already did, and you're going to do your stretch and fold, which basically would be You're gonna pull it up from the north. You don't want to break it, you don't want to rip it, and you're gonna fold it over to the center, and then you're gonna twist your bowl, and then you're gonna do the same thing from the east. Pull it over, stretch it, and then from the south, we're gonna pull it over.
They're just doing it from the same direction.
Oh, you're not supposed to rip it. That's fine. It's okay. This is my first sourdough loaf. It'll be okay. And then this would be the south, but we just keep twisting the bowl. We're just gonna pull it up, pull it over, and stretch it. So you're gonna do 4 total stretches. You don't wanna knead it. You just wanna do the stretch and pull. And it could stick to your fingers, seem a little messy, not stretch very far. That's completely fine for your first fold. So we're gonna cover this again and we're gonna wait 30 more minutes. All right, it's been 30 more minutes. This is what it looks like. We wet our hands. We're gonna do another 4 angle stretch and pull. So we're gonna start with here. We're gonna pull it up. We're gonna stretch and fold it over. Twist your bowl. Do this side. Stretch and fold it over. The third side. Stretch, don't break it. Fold it over. And your fourth side. We're gonna stretch and fold it over. We're gonna again put this just with a towel over the top for 30 more minutes. You usually need 3 or 4 of these stretch and pulls before we move on to the next step. So let's just put our towel right on over top, and I'll see you in 30 more minutes. 30 minutes. Hands are wet. We're gonna do our third and probably final stretch and pull. So again, all 4 corners. Has nice elasticity. Has good gluten base. So there's the 1. 2. 3. And the 4th corner. And now we're just gonna let this do a bulk rise for 2 to 3 hours. So we have it like that. We're gonna cover it with our towel and we're gonna let it sit. Here's what it looks like. We are going to lightly flour our countertop here. And we're gonna pull this out. We do that, we're gonna go ahead and spray our bowl. Pull this out. And what we want to do is we want to get this all into a nice round. So we just want to fold it under, fold it under, fold it under. We're trying to make a nice round ball. So pinch and pull. Kind of tuck and roll, tuck and roll, tuck and roll. So you get it into a nice ball form here. And then that's floured, so we're gonna go ahead and let that like that. And we're gonna sit it in this bowl, seam side up. And let it sit for about 10-15 minutes, if that, and then we're gonna put it in the refrigerator with a lid on it till tomorrow. Dolene sat in the refrigerator overnight. This is what she looks like now. The first thing you want to do is you want to get your bread Dutch oven. You want to put it in the oven and bake it for 45 minutes, top and bottom, at 450 degrees. So we just pulled this out. It's been in there for 45 minutes at 450 degrees. We got a piece of parchment paper here. And we're going to get ready to bake this Dolene. So you just want to take and flip this right out, right onto your parchment paper. Just gently pull it out since it seems to be sticking just a little bit. Oh, there we go. That's perfect. While it's on this parchment paper, you kind of just want to make like a half moon, about a ½ inch deep, real quick, off-centered. Kind of like that. And then we're going to lift this up and we're going to put it down inside that hot Dutch oven. So the point of using the parchment paper is so you don't burn yourself since this is already hot. Like that. And then to create a little bit of steam underneath the parchment paper, you just want to put like 2 or 3 ice cubes. Just like that. And we're going to put it back in the oven. So we kind of cut the parchment paper a little bit. We got the lid on it. We got the ice down in it. We're going to put it back in the oven. At the 450 for 30 minutes covered, and then we're gonna pull and take the cover off. This lets it stay nice and moist since it's in there with the lid on and the steam. And then when we take the lid off, it will make it nice and crisp on the outside and brown it. See you in 30 minutes. All right, 30 minutes. Let's see how she looks. She needs some more cooking. Now when we put the dough in to begin with, it was cold straight out of the fridge. You don't want to warm it up if you're doing the cold fridge start. So we're going to put this back in uncovered at 450. So she's going to go back in at the 450 for 10 to 15 minutes. So we'll look at it at 10 and see what it looks like. Now it didn't quite proof real well. That's standard for the first loaf in a young starter. Still gonna be delicious, but each loaf will improve as that starter gets older. All right, it's time to take it out and call it done. This is our first sourdough loaf. Very young starter. Didn't do the cut as deep as I should have, but that's okay, I'm learning. What you want to do is you want to take this out immediately and put it on a cooling rack, not on the parchment paper. So again, that's where that parchment paper comes in handy because you're able to grab it. It's not hot, and we're just going to slide this right off and put it right on this cooling rack so that the air can circulate all around it. We're going to let this go for about 2 hours before we cut into it. We're going to cut into this sourdough. And we're going to use this for some bruschetta tonight.
It's just, you hit the nail on the head. Anybody who goes through this, we bonded with the family at a time.
What the hell? I didn't even know she was out here.
Of crisis. And yet, even his little daughter, Carly.
You can see it's a very dense.
Says she's heard nothing.
We didn't let it. It was a young starter. It didn't proof a lot. Smells great. This is going to be perfect for some bruschetta. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below. Stay tuned for our next video. We'll definitely do more sour bread, and I promise I will get better, but I'm pretty pleased for my first loaf. Till next time, stay cooking, stay prepping, stay baking.